Bro, Blake Lively, talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they f***ed up. Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit, and they're like, you were a key part of this.
This is what you get, though. This is what you get. You're trying to ruin a guy's livelihood by using the Me Too movement.
Because they were trying to take over the movie.
Yeah.
They were trying to take over the movie and the whole franchise. He owned the franchise. The whole thing's crazy. And he's suing the New York Times, and he's got a great case.
He's going hard in the paint. But
He
that's
should.
what it takes.
It's what it takes.
It's like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
Yeah.
He did it for the boys.
Exactly. You got to do it.
You need real mother. Nah, man, I ain't going out like this. Posted the receipts.
Oh,
He's like,
receipts
oh,
are
remember our
crazy.
tech exchange? Bah, bah.
How about they just never thought that anybody was going to come out with the receipts?
Because no one's ever done it. Because everyone usually just bows
Because everyone's
down.
scared.
Joe Rogan just shattered Hollywood's perfect power couple. In a jaw-dropping segment on his podcast, he put Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively on blast in a way that has the entire industry talking. The internet is exploding with reactions, and Hollywood insiders are scrambling to distance themselves from the fallout. What started as commentary on their legal battle with Justin Baldoni has morphed into something far more damaging, potentially threatening Reynolds' Deadpool empire and Lively's carefully crafted public image. Behind the glittering facade of one of Hollywood's most beloved couples, Rogan suggests there's a darker reality few have been willing to acknowledge until now. The brutal takedown on Rogan's podcast wasn't just casual criticism. He went full throttle, expressing unwavering support for Justin Baldoni in the messy legal fight that's been brewing behind the scenes. While most media figures tiptoe around Hollywood royalty, Rogan charged straight in, demolishing the perfect couple image Blake and Ryan have spent years building. The podcast host pulled no punches when discussing how the power couple allegedly attempted to seize control of Baldoni's project, suggesting they weaponized serious accusations to push him out of his own production, a move that crossed lines even by cutthroat Hollywood standards. Rogan's comments reflect what many industry insiders have been whispering for months, that Reynolds is desperately attempting to distance himself from the escalating situation, while Baldoni fights back against what he claims are false accusations designed to force him out of his own project. This wasn't just idle gossip. Rogan approached it like an investigative journalist exposing corruption, laying bare the alleged manipulation tactics used by one of Hollywood's most powerful pairs. What makes this particularly explosive is the evidence Baldoni has reportedly assembled. According to industry insiders with direct knowledge of the situation, he's created an entire website documenting what really happened, complete with text messages and audio recordings that directly contradict the narrative Blake and Ryan have been pushing. One damning text allegedly disproves Blake's claims about Baldoni entering her trailer without permission, a serious accusation that could have destroyed his career. These receipts haven't just been whispered about, they've been meticulously organized, time-stamped, and archived, creating a digital paper trail that's becoming increasingly difficult for the couple to dismiss. But the bombshell dropped when Rogan cracked open what he portrayed as an even bigger scandal, the shady dealings behind Marvel's casting decisions. Without explicitly naming names, he suggested certain A-listers have been using their influence to secure coveted roles in the MCU, bypassing the typical audition process that thousands of actors must endure. The internet wasted no time connecting these allegations to rumors that Blake has been aggressively campaigning for a Marvel role, allegedly leveraging her husband's established position in the franchise. What makes this particular accusation so damaging is how it undermines the meritocratic image Marvel has tried to maintain. The idea that the best person gets the role, not the person with the best connections. She's been making calls, pulling strings, leaning on Ryan's influence within Marvel, claims one industry source who works closely with casting directors. It's become an open secret that she expects special treatment. As Deadpool, Reynolds isn't just an actor but has genuine creative input in the MCU, making his words significantly more powerful than most stars. According to insiders, Marvel executives have been increasingly uncomfortable with the pressure coming from Blake's team, and now with Rogan publicly airing these allegations, the situation has reached a boiling point that can no longer be contained through NDAs and press junket restrictions. The aftermath has been swift and severe. Sources close to Reynolds claim he immediately reached out behind the scenes, trying to ensure Rogan wouldn't share additional details in future episodes. His team reportedly made frantic calls to mutual connections, attempting to establish back-channel communication with Rogan's producers. If there was nothing to hide, why the scramble to control the narrative? Questions one entertainment journalist who's covered Hollywood power couples for over a decade. That reaction alone validates what people have been whispering about for months. Rogan's unapologetic approach to the situation has only intensified the scrutiny. Unlike most media figures who might backpedal under pressure from Hollywood power players, he's doubled down with silence, making no retractions, offering no clarifications, and completely ignoring the damage control attempts from Reynolds' team. This strategy has only amplified suspicions, driving internet sleuths to dig deeper into Blake's sudden push toward Marvel and Ryan's alleged role in securing her opportunities. The situation took an even darker turn when clips surfaced of Rogan sarcastically referring to Reynolds as a predator. Whether intended as mockery or not, the word carries tremendous weight in Hollywood, especially post-Me Too. Almost immediately, fans began compiling montages of Reynolds making questionable jokes or displaying overly familiar behavior in interviews, creating a narrative snowball that's rapidly gathering size and momentum. Context-free clips from years of press tours were suddenly being re-examined through this new lens, with moments previously dismissed as harmless banter now scrutinized for deeper meaning. Meanwhile, Blake Lively attended the premiere of A Simple Favor 2 alone, an absence that wouldn't typically raise eyebrows but felt painfully conspicuous given the current climate. The energy that night was ice cold, reveals an attendee who works regularly with major studios. Her co-stars were keeping their distance, the fan reaction was subdued, and Ryan was nowhere to be seen. Body language experts analyzing premiere footage noted Lively's strained smile and minimal interaction with cast members, a stark contrast to her typically effusive red carpet presence. The most visible crack in Lively's armor came when a protester appeared outside the premiere holding a sign reading "Justice for Justin Baldoni," a direct reference to the legal battle her team has been desperately trying to suppress. Though it wasn't a massive demonstration, the moment symbolized a shift in public perception that no amount of PR spin could fix. The protester managed to position himself directly in photographers' sightlines, ensuring the message would be captured in red carpet footage. This guerrilla PR tactic created the exact juxtaposition Lively's team had been working to avoid. Her glamorous appearance literally framed by accusations of wrongdoing. Behind closed doors, Marvel executives are reportedly furious about the unwanted attention. 3 separate sources with connections to Disney confirm emergency meetings have been called to assess potential damage to the brand. Marvel has built its empire on being family-friendly and drama-free, explains an industry analyst with ties to several major studios. They've dropped major stars for far less controversy than this. Even Reynolds, who has been one of their most valuable assets, isn't immune to the studio's ruthless approach to protecting its brand. If the situation continues to deteriorate, insiders predict Marvel will begin quietly distancing themselves from both Reynolds and Lively. The stakes couldn't be higher for Reynolds, whose Deadpool character represents a multi-billion-dollar franchise that has become central to Marvel's future plans. They're running contingency planning sessions, reveals a VFX supervisor who works regularly with Marvel, figuring out how to potentially minimize his role or replace him entirely if things go nuclear. For Lively, who reportedly has been pursuing her own Marvel role, the timing couldn't be worse. She was in advanced talks for a significant character introduction, claims a casting director who works with major studios. Those conversations have gone completely cold in the past week. The damage extends far beyond their acting careers. Blake's business ventures are reportedly suffering, with her hair care line facing plummeting sales and retail partners quietly pulling products from shelves. Her cocktail brand could be next as investors grow increasingly nervous about associating with her tarnished image. Hollywood doesn't support talent, it supports perception, notes one veteran publicist who has managed crisis situations for several A-listers. And when powerful people no longer see you as valuable, they let you sink. What makes this particularly devastating for the couple is the nature of their downfall. Unlike explosive scandals that make headlines for weeks then fade away, they're experiencing what industry insiders call the slow fade. A gradual erosion of power, influence, and opportunities that's almost impossible to reverse. This is when the phone calls slow down, the invitations stop coming, and Hollywood simply moves on without you, explains a former studio executive. It's career death by 1,000 cuts. No dramatic firing, no public cancellation, just the quiet realization that doors that used to open automatically now remain firmly closed. The legal battle itself has revealed even more troubling details about what may have happened behind the scenes. Court documents recently made public point fingers at Stephanie Jones, a PR executive who reportedly worked closely with Blake. According to filings from Baldoni's team, Jones engaged in highly questionable behavior, including using a psychic to predict things about her employees and accessing confidential information from staff phones to pass to Lively. These allegations paint a picture not just of unethical behavior, but of a deeply dysfunctional professional environment where boundaries were routinely crossed and privacy consistently violated. She went from being a respected PR professional to someone who was throwing tantrums, accusing employees of disloyalty, and playing mind games, states one filing. In one bizarre instance, Jones allegedly announced to staff, based on her psychic's vision, that an employee was about to become pregnant with twins, an invasion of privacy that left team members deeply uncomfortable. The documents further claim she created fake social media accounts to stalk former employees and journalists, and planted negative stories to damage ex-clients' reputations. This revelation has sparked a new theory. Was Blake Lively manipulated by her own PR team? Some industry analysts now speculate that Jones may have fed Lively false information about Baldoni, potentially pushing her to take actions that have now backfired spectacularly. There's a scenario where Blake was operating on completely incorrect information, suggests a crisis management expert who has reviewed the public filings. If true, this could provide Lively with a potential exit strategy: publicly apologize, admit she was misled, and shift blame to the PR company that allegedly manipulated her. The strategy comes with significant risks, however. Throwing a longtime advisor under the bus, even one whose behavior appears genuinely problematic, could reinforce perceptions of Lively as calculating and disloyal. If she goes this route, she needs substantial evidence that she was genuinely misled, cautions a reputation consultant. Otherwise, it looks like scapegoating, which could backfire dramatically. The approach would also require genuine contrition and accountability for her own actions, something celebrities often struggle with when accustomed to constant validation and protection. Whether this would be enough to salvage her reputation remains to be seen. Hollywood forgives many things, but the industry rarely forgets when someone's true character has been exposed. As one veteran casting director puts it, "In this town, you're only as good as your last power play. If you lose, you're done." The industry has a long memory for people who overplayed their hand and got caught doing it. The legal proceedings themselves continue to generate new revelations. Court filings indicate Baldoni's legal team has secured additional witnesses willing to testify about the couple's behind-the-scenes behavior. They've got people who worked on multiple productions ready to come forward, reveals a paralegal familiar with the case preparation. Former assistants, crew members, even executives who felt pressured by the couple. Once the dam breaks and people feel safe speaking out, there's no containing the flood. The fallout continues to spread, affecting everyone in the couple's professional orbit. Projects involving either star now carry the stain of controversy, with writers, directors, and fellow actors finding themselves unwillingly dragged into the maelstrom. Everyone who's worked with them is being pressured to take sides, reveals a director who recently collaborated with Reynolds. It's creating a toxic environment across the industry. People who just want to make movies are suddenly expected to declare their allegiance in what's essentially become a civil war. As the couple PR teams work overtime to contain the damage, one thing has become painfully clear: the perfect image Blake and Ryan spent years cultivating is crumbling. The charming prankster and relatable fashion icon personas that made them Hollywood royalty now seem like carefully constructed facades hiding something far less appealing. They built their brand on being the anti-Hollywood couple, authentic, unpretentious, and genuinely in love, notes a social media strategist who has studied their online presence. That's why this hits so hard. It's not just about bad behavior, it's about deception. What happens next will depend largely on how they handle the ongoing crisis. Will they continue fighting the allegations, potentially dragging more damaging details into the public eye? Or will one of them make a strategic move to salvage what remains of their reputation? With the lawsuit battle continuing and more court documents likely to emerge, this saga is far from over. The question isn't just whether their careers will survive, it's whether Hollywood's perfect couple will still exist when the dust finally settles.